Merry Christmas Eve, y'all. Let's make some gumbo. All right, so I have put a whole chicken in just a big pot of water. That's all that's in there. It's a whole chicken and water. Make sure you take out all the innards. And if you want to save it and make a gravy with it, you can. You can just boil those innards in some water or some chicken broth and season it up and make you a gravy, you know, make you a little cornstarch mixture or something to thicken it up. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut up, I have about 3/4 of a stalk of celery, and I have almost a whole onion that's left over from something else that I did. And so I am going to chop these up. Are y'all ready for Christmas? I'm ready. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that right now. I'll be ready when time comes. We're having Christmas, actually, Christmas Eve night, tonight. So I gotta get my act together. We're doing kind of like crafty, do-it-yourself kind of presents. We're not going out and purchasing big things or spending a lot of money. We're doing more crafty and baking and making different things. And so yeah, it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna see how it works for us. I know one thing, it does take a little more work to do that kind of Christmas, but I feel like it'll have so much more meaning. We'll see if everybody agrees with me. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the traditional way of just gets expensive buying presents for everybody, you know what I mean? So I was trying to make it a little more economical for us, but we'll see how that rolls. All right, so I'm just dicing up this onion. And I'm going to throw that in here into this chicken with water. You can see it's just going to get better and better here as we go along. I'm going to now just chop up. I've already washed my celery, and now I'm just cutting right through the whole entire stalk. Get you a good knife. My friend Laura got me this knife set, and y'all, I love it. Now, if you're not big into big pieces of celery and onion, it's okay, because this is going to cook overnight. It can cook overnight, or it can be cooked all during the day. It just has to cook for a good while. I like my gumbo to cook about 8 hours before we actually eat it. Gumbo's always better the second day as well. Would y'all agree with me on that? Anybody got an opinion on that? Everybody has different food opinions, don't they? All right, we're gonna dump this celery in here. Okay, so that's about a whole onion, about 3/4 a stalk of celery. I'm gonna generously use my Tonys. Okay, and we are going to throw in a little bit of the Slap Ya Mama, just for a little grab you in there. Keep you some gumbo filet on hand. I like to use that toward the end. And we are looking for some liquid smoke. Give me just a second, and some crab oil. Let me grab those real quick. This is probably the only thing I use these two products for, is my gumbo liquid smoke. I'm just gonna put that generously. It's gonna kind of give that chicken a smoky flavor. And I'm gonna put a cupful of the Zatarain's crab and shrimp boil. 1 cup, or 1 lid, sorry. Now we're gonna go in with just salt, regular old salt. Keep in mind that the roux I'm gonna be making, and I'll be doing that with you here in just a second, it's gonna be seasoned as well. All right, let's see if there's anything else I feel like I need to put in here. I am going to throw a little bit of black pepper. So my seasonings that are in containers like this come from Yoder's up in Bulls Gap, Greenville area. It's about 2 hours from my house. We try to go up there occasionally and get spices. It's an Amish or Mennonite area. I'm not sure. Do you know which one it is? I can't remember. I want to say that I did know at one time. I'm going to throw a little bit of my garlic and wine melting pot seasoning. And then we're going to go in, last but not least, with some poultry seasoning. And I was thinking I had everything together, and I'm slacking a little bit. Let's find that poultry seasoning. Well, do I have poultry seasoning? I do. It is way up here, up high. Do y'all ever think you got it together and you don't? That's me. I gotta get better with these cooking videos, y'all. But I love doing these. Are y'all enjoying them? I like to bring y'all right into my kitchen. All right, so poultry seasoning. That's a must. Like a must. It's got the thyme. It's got all kinds of seasoning in it that this gumbo needs. Now, I'm just gonna let this cook. And I'm actually making this video. I pre-made this video, and it's about 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve, and I'm gonna let it simmer all through the night while I'm getting my few little winks of sleep. And I'm gonna put it on 2 burners since this pot is since this pot is long. Let me give you a little glimpse of my pot here. So I'm using 2 burners, and I'm going to start it off on high, and once it gets to boiling, I'm going to cut it down and let it cook all through the night. So that's the first step to the broth of my gumbo. Now, I'm going to take you to my roux. We're going to make some roux. It's going to also cook through the night. Have y'all ever heard of that? Most people stand there and they stir and they stir and they stir. I don't. I cook my roux in the oven. That light is really bright, isn't it? Let me move you over here. My husband bought me a little tripod here, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not too impressed with it because the legs on it do not work right. Okay, so, all right, I'm taking you here to my roux. I'm gonna use white lily flour for this. I used Aldi brand flour at Thanksgiving. Something did not work with my roux, and I'm thinking it was the Aldi's flour. Flour's funny. Not all brands of flour work the same. So I'm going to use my Lily because it is my all-time favorite. I do like King Arthur flour as well, probably equally. And I'm going to show you how I make my roux. My roux is going to go in the oven. I am going to cook it on about 250 all through the night. I'll probably get up about 1 time during the night. I don't know about y'all, but every now and then at night I gotta get up and go to the restroom, and that's probably when I'll get up and come in here and give it a little stir, and then go back to bed and let it finish. Okay, so I'm going to measure this. I don't measure nothing, y'all. Do y'all measure? All right, so we're gonna, well, my measuring cup just broke. Okay, it's all right, let's still use it. Okay, I'm gonna use about, I wanna make a lot of roux because, shh, don't tell anybody, but I'm gonna give it for Christmas presents as well. Just jars of roux. Do y'all buy your roux or make your roux? Okay, that's 2 cups. We're gonna go into 3 cups. Flour. Okay, I think that's probably all I need to cook at one time. I'm going to use olive oil. I have used, looks like something is trying to burn on my burner. Let's make sure we ain't gonna have a kitchen fire here. don't know what's going on with it. Wouldn't that be something? If y'all caught my if I had a kitchen fire on live video, or on video, kind of worried me there for a second. It looked like the burner was gonna catch fire. All right, so we're gonna do some olive oil in here. I used vegetable oil and it did really weird at one point. So I don't like to use vegetable oil. You can use canola oil, you can use just about any kind of oil. My favorite go-to is the olive oil. I do get this from Aldi's, and remember what I say about olive oil? You want it cold pressed in a glass bottle, and you want it to have one source. This is my choice for now. It's the specially selected Aldi's brand. And we're gonna come in and we're just gonna kind of stir this. You want kind of a muddy mixture. Takes a little bit, y'all. Takes a little bit of oil. And especially with 3 cups of flour, we're gonna have to really come in with the oil. Now what I am gonna do, I have some bacon grease saved in my little container here. Throw a couple tablespoons of my bacon grease in here. Look at that, y'all. That bacon grease, oh my Lord. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna keep stirring and working in that flour and with this oil and this bacon grease. And y'all can see how the middle's getting muddy. That's what you're looking for. And I'm just gonna work that flour in. I'll probably be making about 4 batches of this. If you're interested in buying some roux from me, roux makes a great gravy. I could tell you how to use it, but it makes a great gumbo broth. All right, y'all can see what I'm doing here, I believe. There we go. Okay, it's getting to be looking like a little muddy lake. And we're just gonna work that flour into there. Get a little more oil. Olive oil is not cheap, y'all, but it is the best in my opinion, and I love to make my roux with it. So this is all-purpose flour that I'm using. And we're gonna throw some seasonings here in a minute. Now, I will tell you, I've watched numerous videos on different ways to make your roux. Some people like to cook their vegetables in it, in their roux. I like to cook my vegetables in my broth and do my roux separate, but I do put lots of seasoning in there. Mostly Tony's Creole. Tony's Creole, a little extra salt, and some of my melting pot garlic and wine. All right, y'all, it's looking good. It's looking good. See how muddy it's getting? You want it to be real muddy. You want it to be kind of pasty. Now, what'll happen is when I get up and check on it, if it is way too like oily, I'll throw some more flour in and stir it in. If it is way too chalky, I will add more oil to it. And I didn't measure my oil, I'm sorry. I'm just a measure with my heart kind of girl, y'all. That's what I like to do. Okay, this is looking divine. I'm gonna add just a little bit more oil. I want it to be nice and moist since I'm gonna go to bed on it. I don't want it to burn. I don't think it will. I've done this before and it's never burned on me like that. But I don't want it to get too dry, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, y'all see how milky and pasty that is? It would remind you of like, gosh, what would you think? It's just like a runny mud. Okay. What you're basically doing is you're roasting your oil, your flour, not your oil. You're roasting your flour. Okay. Now, I'm gonna throw in some Tony's Creole. My Aunt Judy said that when they were kids, when their mom was making roux, they would like eat the roux. Like when it was done cooking, they would eat it. I can't imagine that. But she told me that story one time. Aunt Judy, you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna also throw in, y'all, I found at a craft fair, Steamin' Steve's Tennessee Heat. Y'all, it's good. He has a local distributor here in Maryville. I can't think of the name of it right now to promote it. I'll have to check into that. But I'm gonna throw some of that Steamin' Steve's Tennessee Heat in there. I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt, just regular old salt. Let me try to pull it out, is it not? Yeah. I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt in there. And again, I'm gonna put my oven on about 250, I think. No, I think I said 300 earlier. I think I'm gonna go with 250. And depending on what it looks like when I get up in the night or in the early morning, I may end up turning my heat up to around 300, 350. You can, if you're gonna be cooking it, if you're up, like I'm fixing to go to bed and I don't want to have to wait on it. You can, it takes about, if you put it on 375, it'll only take about an hour and a half. And you only have to stir it once or twice. It's not like that, you know, that whole hour of stirring. No, you put it in the oven and you leave it there and it's all done. All right, I'm gonna put it in the oven and I will be creating another video to attach to this one, or perhaps separate, I don't know, we'll see. And I'll show you the finishing, how to finish up your gumbo, how to add your roux to your broth. I'm gonna be putting chicken, while I'm cooking the chicken, I'm gonna be putting in sausage and shrimp. So some people do not mix their shrimp and their chicken. I do, and it's wonderful. So if you like shrimp, my friend Penny does not, but that's okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end this part of the session. Thank you for joining me. Hey y'all, for my gumbo, I'm gonna add some shrimp, but I need to peel it first, and I wanted to show you how I quick peel. All right, so it's still just a little bit frozen, so I'm just pouring some hot water in the bag. This is a Cape Cod, this is Cape Cod medium, 4150. Easy peel, super easy to peel, but I'm gonna throw some hot water in here to kind of quick thaw it, and that's perfectly fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. And I'm just gonna kind of move that around a little bit. All right, so this is my favorite kind of shrimp to buy. This is from Food City. And now I'm gonna show you how I peel it. Okay, so you want to take it and you want to squeeze the tail and just pull it off, okay? And then you can just take the skin from the top ridge, the vein part of the shrimp, and you can just roll that skin around and pull it right off. Now, I have done this for years, so it makes it a little easier for me to do. And sometimes I roll it the other way and just pull that skin off. You want to make sure that it's well thawed for it to do this. And also, the fresher the shrimp, the easier it is to peel. So if it's hard to peel, you know your shrimp may have sat somewhere for a little while before it was actually frozen. All right, so that's how we peel shrimp, and I'm gonna peel 2 pounds to put in my gumbo. All right, guys, I'm going to finish that gumbo up. My roux is done. I'm going to show you this roux. Look at this. Nice chocolate brown. That's what you want. That's what you want for your roux. All right. So I've got my broth heating up. You want your broth to be almost to a boiling temperature, if not a boiling temperature. And we're just going to start dropping some of this roux in. I've got a small pot over here, gluten-free, that I'm working on as well. And I'm just gonna start bringing it in. And you just stir that roux up in here. I want you to see this. I'm just stirring it in. You can see the pot, the pan of roux over here I'm dipping out of. And you just want your broth to be a nice brown. But you also want it to have a little bit of a thickening to it. Not a lot. You don't want to get too much roux in there. And what I like to do is I like to dish it up in a spoon. And see what it looks like. And see, that's way too weak for a spoon of gumbo. So we'll put some more in there. Some more roux, that is. Look at that, y'all. It's just roasted flour and oil. And it does need to, I'm gonna tell you, tomorrow this pot will be the best pot. It'll be good tonight, but tomorrow's when it really, all those flavors, and I just didn't get an early enough start, but that's okay. I have not put any of my chicken in here yet. If you put the chicken in before you put the roux gets all hung up in the chicken and it's hard for it to dissolve. So you want to do just juice and your veggies. Your celery and onion, that's all the veggies I have in mine. I don't put bell pepper, I don't put okra. And I don't put whole tomatoes. I do put tomato paste to add to my broth. All right, let's look at that with a spoon. And that's looking better. I'm thinking that maybe just a little bit more. Just like that much is all I'm going to put in. And I think that'll be enough. All right, I'm going to sit you down for a minute. My stand doesn't want to stand good. Hang on just a minute. Well, sorry guys. We're just going to take it off of that. And we're going to put you right here and let you kind of watch the rest of it. Okay, so I've got my gumbo cooking with the roux. Just kind of letting that cook. I'm going to throw in some Worcestershire sauce. You can see I'm generously putting that in. I probably put the equivalence of 1/4 cup in it. I'm going to put a little bit of gumbo filet. Zatarain's gumbo filet. It just thickens it up just a little bit. It's just sassafras leaves, y'all. That's what gumbo filet is. Let me get my can of tomato paste. Augie, your mama's calling you. All right, we're going to open up this can of tomato paste. Whoop. Everything's a falling, isn't it? I've ordered a light so that you can see. Not that you need to see me better, but... Okay, so I just put the rest of the sausage in there, and now I'm going to grab about a handful. This is a whole chicken plus three big chicken breasts. And then I mixed all the dark meat up with the white meat. Dark meat is essential. Your whole chicken is essential to your gumbo, in my opinion. It also helps make your broth. Let's see, we're gonna wait on Nick's for a minute because that gluten-free, and I make his just like I make mine, but I use the King Arthur measure to measure gluten-free flour. And we are just gonna put that in there. Looking mighty fine. So we got the shrimp in there, we've got the chicken in here, and we've got the sausage in here. I'm gonna put a little bit more in Nick's. I'm gonna show y'all what his looks like. Give me just a second. He needs a little bit more chicken. All right, let me show y'all my poor phone. All right. Let me take you over here and let me show you what his looks like. See that little pot? His looks pretty similar to mine, doesn't it? And it's not too shabby, y'all, if you're gluten intolerant. Okay. Now, I'm gonna keep adding my chicken in here. I'm gonna probably have to start adding. Remember, I used seasonings when I did my chicken, when I cooked my chicken through the night. And I used that same broth. So I already have seasonings in here, but I'm gonna taste it and we're gonna see if we need any more seasoning now that we've added stuff to it. I think we're gonna go ahead and finish off this tomato paste, and we're gonna add some salt. Okay. Adding some chicken to it, and I just deboned that chicken. I didn't put it through a shredder or a chopper or nothing. That's what it looks like. I like to have lots of meat in mine. I think that you will too. Making sure that Nick has plenty. Okay, we're gonna add the rest of this meat into this gumbo. This pan my mother bought me years ago when she worked at Dillard's. It's amazing. This top of this, it's the lid for this pan, and it also has the bottom as a pot. You can use this as a skillet. It has multiple purposes. And I'm so sorry, y'all. I just keep flipping y'all all over the place. All right, that is pretty much it on my gumbo. You can add more Worcestershire. You can put hot sauce in it. You can do anything you want. I feel like right now mine's probably at a pretty good place. It's a pretty good pot full. And we're gonna enjoy our Christmas Eve dinner, Cajun style. Thanks for joining me.